Hi everyone, Leslie here, aka ShouYume, aka that Starscream with the crown that was hanging around MomoCon. I had several questions regarding the cosplay, so I thought I would take the time to answer a few. Now, things to remember about the construction. This was my first attempt at constructing a robot cosplay, so I'm actually a novice too. The project was rushed due to other obligations, so I ended up utilizing what methods I thought were the most effective in a short amount of time. The costume is more simplified than I had originally planned, and there was a lot of improvisation. Things to remember about the design. Robot characters are complex designs, but Transformers Prime characters in particular have the most human-like character concepts in terms of anatomy and sculpt by far of any Transformers franchise that I can think of. The robots are also very stylized, so you must compensate for those stylizations in your construction and keep in mind that as a regular human being, you won't be able to portray the exact proportions of the character unless you intend to construct an entire puppet rig, or unless you want to break your limbs to match those of your character. But anyway, let's move on to the questions. So how did you guys make everything so smooth and shiny? I constructed the entire armor portion out of craft foam backed with stiff cotton for reinforcement. I used several layers of tulip metallic fabric paint to make it silver, and I advise a good brush that allows smooth strokes, and always keep the grain of your strokes the same to avoid blotches. Also keep in mind I actually did hot glue 2 layers of craft foam together per piece of armor so that it would actually be even stronger and more durable since I was not using industrial grade foam. How did you end up attaching the shoulders? The spaulders are actually attached by a simple Velcro strap around the armor. So they dangled but allowed me to move my arms without constricting the arm or wiggling about. These were the best solution to my time constraint, I guess you could say, as strapping them directly to my arms to create the hovering illusion proved to be painful, and the weight of the double layers of foam and the hot glue were too heavy to keep them from wobbling with every movement. So this was actually the best solution that I found. Just curious as to how you got the wings to stay on the back in a straight manner without them falling down or off, and what materials could you recommend? They're foam core wings, spray painted and duct taped. As you can see, they stay pretty stiff. The angle doesn't change. They do wiggle a little bit without wearing the armor, but it's very little. I was advised that spray paint does eat through foam core, so I did add a thin layer of hot glue to protect the foam on the edges. The wing rig was attached like regular angel wings with 2 elastic slip-on strips. The plate for the wing rig was actually made of corrugated cardboard folded into prisms, with the corrugation not against it, of course, upon which the wings were attached. Wings were hot glued, and once they were cooled, they were reinforced with this duct tape. The rig kept the wings at the same angle and they didn't wobble around because of the sturdy yet light material. Not to mention the duct tape also hid the unsightly cardboard. I had a few questions about your helm piece. What did you make it out of, and could you see out of it? The helm piece is not actually a full helmet, but it is a mask, and I chose this for easy removing in the event I needed to speak to the convention staff, other attendees, or Steve Bloom. It easily slips back because it's not the full cranium, as you can see. Just like a little hat. It's made of craft foam and fabric paint, and the cranium base is actually an old Mickey hat. I did pull the ears off so that I could use the dome piece as a base. For the eyes, I chose to use tissue lame because it was most visible, and I opted not to use LEDs or cellophane so as not to hurt my vision and keep the head as small as possible. Tishulame was bright enough to be distinguishable as red, and even though it still offered limited visibility, was sheer enough to allow me to navigate. Thank you all for joining me this evening and for your interest in the Starscream cosplay. I hope I was able to offer some useful tips, and if you have any more questions, please feel free to contact me via Tumblr or DeviantArt or on Facebook. And thanks again, and I look forward to seeing more Transformers at future conventions.